Hi, everybody. I'm Achyut Menon from Options Executive Search, and today happens to be the third episode of the Facebook Live series that I'm doing. It's called Sutras for the Future of Work, where I invite experts who've been working with me to come and talk about the various changes which are happening around the world. We all know that we are amidst some of the most unprecedented times. Workplace, and workers are all changing. And so it's just everything has been brought down together with COVID, which has transformed our lives over the last 2 months across the world. And we're used to some very, very unusual work business which is happening. So interestingly, I've had two sessions so far. The first one was from an NPA member, Tawfiq Arif, who represented NPA Indonesia. He was the area director for Asia. He came and spoke to us a week back. Earlier this week, I had a conversation with Gabriela, who talked to us about the importance of personal branding, and she had spoken about LinkedIn. Today, we have a third speaker, who is Andreas Vetr, a friend of mine from Austria, Vienna, and he heads an international recruitment consultancy company called ISG. And we had a try. He was initially scheduled to have a call on Friday last, where we had gone live on Facebook Live. Due to some technical issues, quite a few technical issues, because we had to abort it at least 3 times. We had rescheduled it for today, and I'm afraid there is some technical snag even now, because I can see that Andreas is not yet able to join me. So what I will do is I had spoken to him about 15 minutes back. He was stuck in another meeting, but I'm sure he'll come in. Yeah, he's just coming in. Just hang on. Hi, Andreas.
Hello.
Hi, Andreas. Thanks for coming by. I have just gone live, and so I was trying to introduce yourself. Okay. So, yeah. So
I will set up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wonderful. I mean, we'll have to slightly bring down your head. I mean, if your head is hitting the ground. Yeah, that's better. Or a little back. So, Andreas, thanks for coming by. And I know you've had a long day today, and you just came in from another meeting. And since we went on live, there are 4 people watching already. So I thought I'll quickly introduce you. So, Andreas, are you ready? We can have a conversation now.
Yeah, I'm ready.
Sure. So, thanks, Andreas. So, why don't you tell us our speakers something about you, what you do, how you do it, and what motivates you to do it? All yours.
Welcome, everybody. I don't see anybody. I would love to see you, but anyway, I'm happy to be around with you here. And what I do, I'm from Vienna, Austria, and I'm in the recruiting and HR business. We are an HR provider, and we are in 38 countries active, through also in India. And thank you very much to have me on this program, Menon.
Oh, it's a pleasure having you, Andreas. We have worked on an assignment for last year, and where one of our clients needed a European person for an Indian multinational to look after a global role. And so I had the opportunity to meet up Andreas and team. They are part of the same worldwide network that I am part of, NPA Worldwide, which has over 500 partners. Andreas represents this company, which is also much larger than the mom and pop shows we see in India. Okay, he has over. So why don't you come? Yeah, go ahead.
The numbers are maybe telling a little bit. We are from Austria, but we started 20 years ago in 1999 with 3 people. That was Guido Leisinger, the founder of the company. He came from the HR business, and 3 other people. So they started the company. Today, 38 countries, 720 people employed, and in 60 offices. And now we try to conquer the world, so to speak, to
Yeah,
help.
I will not be surprised if you don't.
We have right now, we have active, I mean, we approached 26,000 people or customers, and 9,600 really work with us actively again and again on this worldwide basis, and that's fun. We help companies to source the right candidates and to grow the potential of their people, of their employees, to the potential they have. So we assess them, we train them, we coach them, and do everything around employees.
Yes, Andreas, I think you will need to tell our audience about the kind of clientele ISG has been working with. It's a few thousands. I leave the number to you. A few thousand clients, active clients, and also if you can just give us a broad overview of the various verticals your company has, so that it's very unique. Most of the recruitment consultants that I've interacted with are typically specialized in either a function, industry, location. Here, your model is really, really remarkable because you have, and you call yourself a full service HR service provider. So if you can kind of, and this I personally feel, going by the growth of last 2 decades, obviously you do something right extremely well. So if you can probably let us know more about it, it'd be wonderful.
Yeah, thank you. It works. Yeah, it is good, and we are growing. Although whatever happens, we are growing. We see at the moment that we can attract a lot of very good consultants, helping us to do this all over the world, and not only in the countries where we are already, but enlarge in India. We need an army in India to help all the customers, which are typically companies over 65 employees, white collar employees. So this is the typical customer, 65 plus employees, up to huge corporations. And they actually ask us all the time, are you in India? Are you in this place? Are you in that place? Are you in America? Are you in Japan?
Right.
And as they know us, as they know our process, as they know our data and database and our work, they want us also to go with them into their countries where they want to grow.
So if you can let us know those verticals that you have, Andreas, when you say end-to-end HR, if you can just list out, I remember it's across recruitment, and I will not leave this, I'll leave the thunder for you.
We start, of course, with recruitment, because first you need the right people before you can do anything in a company. So finding, evaluate the right people and their momentarily situation in their life. Are they able to perform in the company, and would they be happy in the company? Does the culture match with their beliefs? So we try to first find the right people. We do this with simple postbox. That means can be an advertisement to find the right people, or we look in our database, simple services, or search and selection services, executive search services, and they're mostly done by different people, or interim management, temporary work. So within recruitment, you have already 5-6 different products which we offer our customers, so that they can say, I don't need the big search, expensive, I look for the cheaper one, or opposite. No, I need now the top-notch guy. So I have 6 months time, 8 months time, but I need the right people, and go the long, in-depth process. We do this with testing tools, ready assessments. We do the talent profiling, so assessment center, development centers. So we see what is the potential of the person, where do we have a gap analyze automatically in the talent acquisition process, and then we can suggest, okay, if you improve yourself here, or if the company focuses on these points, then we have the trainer team, the coaching team, and they help the individuals in groups or in one-on-ones to grow to their full potential for both sides, for the person themselves and for the company utilization.
So you have recruitment as a young piece, and then next to the assessments, and then what's the other one? Yeah, one. I'll just stop you here for. I'll just stop you for a minute, Andreas. I can see there are 8 viewers watching this live and about 11 likes. So, gentlemen, if you can just comment in your on the Facebook as to who you are and which part of the world you are, and if you have any queries, we'll definitely come back to you as soon as Andreas is completing with his presentation about this company. I know that there are a lot of exciting opportunities for all of us. Yeah. So recruitment, testing tools, and then
testing tools, then the gap analysis there, so we can invest in people and grow them to their extent. And we do kind of shadow HR in reality. So we walk alongside of companies, and we don't nag them always to buy something, but we see how they evolve. And when they need us, they know that we know them.
Right.
And therefore, we can help them with all kinds of things, from talent mapping to, you name it, all HR issues, organizational development issues. But what is most needed in India, because we want to enter much more in India, this is a huge market for us, which we really want to support the companies, the candidates, the people.
Exactly. What's remarkable that I've been interacting with you and your team for the last 6-7 months is the kind of caliber of the consultants you're able to attract and who work with ISG. Okay, each one of them I can see is experience in the industry with about 15 years plus experience. You have specialists who come in from various functional specialists, and then who are willing to do something on their own. And I noticed that ISG is able to provide them a platform where they can become an entrepreneur and do the best in their field of specialization, and not worry about marketing their services, because ISG has got a phenomenal set of is 8,000 active clients, is it? Okay, and a tremendous amount of goodwill. So if you can just let us know what kind of, so if keeping that most of your European clients are likely to look at this part of the world, India, China, Japan, over the next few years, how do you think you can, what kind of opportunity, what kind of consultants would ISG be looking for if you were to be expanding in this part of the world? So if you can just give us an idea about that, it will help us.
We like extroverted people, of course, because there is a part of business development involved. When we come to an area, we want to be in every larger city where business is located. And there we need a whole team. We need recruiters of different functions, as you said before, and different levels.
Right.
And we need trainers, and we need assessors, and we need coaches with experience, not somebody who says, I want to be a coach. Right. And they should first make the coaching training, get certified, make their 500 hours, and then they may be the right people to evaluate for ISG.
Correct.
And trainers the same. They have done 100 trainings or more, and they are in a subject, let's say sales or teamwork or leadership and communication issues. So they have something they bring to the rich table of all the consultants, and together we are stronger. And I give always one sample in my first blueprint seminar, which I may share with you if you like.
Absolutely. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah, it's very interesting, viewers, because one of the biggest benefits for any consultant joining ISG is the kind of on-the-job training and development provided by Andreas. Andreas himself is a very established coach. He's been following his guru John Maxwell for over 20-25 years. And we can see he probably lives a lot of maxims and philosophies shared by John Maxwell, and I'm sure each of them is shown in the seminars that he does. So please let us know of what the blueprint seminar that you have.
I'm not even sure what is mine and what is his. It got mixed up in my head.
Yeah, you're living this.
But
Absolutely.
you know what John always said? John says, take my material and bring it to your team. And in the beginning says, John says. And then later on say, it has been said. And
Right.
after a while, when you internalize it, you say, I have been thinking, and then give them.
Wow.
So important is that we give the knowledge away to the next generation, to the next people, so they can form their business with this knowledge. This is how
Exactly.
humanity evolves. Give the knowledge, and then on top of the knowledge, you make more experience and can go further and evolve. So what I always say, what is the core of ISG is
Right.
like the story where the guy was allowed to go to see heaven and hell before he dies.
Okay.
And the angel says, what do you want to see first? He says, I want to see first hell. And
Okay.
they go to hell, and there was a table full of food, all the richest and nicest food you can imagine.
Right.
There were people, but they were hungry, starving, foul, white, ill. And he saw also the reason the people had very long spoons,
Right.
so they couldn't feed themselves. And
Even
then
though there was a lot of food, they were not able to feed themselves because of the long spoons. Yeah, right.
exactly right. So he says, okay, I've seen the reason and the problems. Let's see heaven. And they go to heaven and they see again full tables of wonderful food, and the people around look happy, nourished, healthy. And they had also the long spoon.
Right.
The difference he saw immediately is people didn't try to feed themselves. They fed
Wow.
each other.
They felt others.
They fed each other. So they put the spoon in the food and gave to the other person. And this is actually the metaphor of ISG. We are all HR experts in a field. And we are
Right.
at the customer. And when I go as a recruiter to a customer, the
Right.
customer may say, I don't need recruiting, I need training right now. So
Absolutely.
if I am just a recruiter, I go home.
True.
But
We leave
here,
a lot of money on the table. Yeah.
exactly, we say, ISG can help you. Let me know
Okay.
your issue, and we bring it to the right people so that they can help the company and the people in this company. And so we help each other and serve each other, so everybody is happier, because you do your promotional material anyway, but you sell the whole pyramid of needs, from
Fantastic.
recruiting to testing to training to HR services.
Awesome. So it's very, very interesting because uh, it's almost like I'm part of another large business networking organization called BNI, and
Yeah,
we have a concept called power team. Okay, a power team is basically it's a bunch of professionals who provide complementary services to the same client. So, because we all have so many rich relationships with our clients, it's not often that the client may need all the services that we provide. And it's quite possible that certainly, if not, and if I were to go and meet a client, I've been in industry for now 28 years. Most often, when I go, they say, no, no, we are not looking at senior management hiring. But if you were to look at middle management, we can give you assignments. Now, what I'm trying to say is, in an ISG kind of a scenario, because of the kind of range of services that you provide, executive recruitment, uh, contingency hiring, interim management, coaching, training, etc., you essentially are picking and feeding the others to be more successful. And together, the whole team uh, adds much more value,
yeah.
and the client benefits from the collective wisdom and knowledge and experience of IC consultants. Oh, brilliant! I think
Not,
it's
not only the client, I call it CCC. It's the
okay.
client benefits, the candidate benefits, and the candidate can be a training candidate as well, a coaching candidate as well,
Right.
and the consultants, all of them, because they are in a union kind of. Yeah?
Right. The client, the candidate, and the consultants.
Yes, all
Wow.
three of them benefit. Yeah?
Sure.
And as you said, BNI, I met and interviewed Ivan Meissner, the founder.
Dr. Ivan Meissner. Wow, he's the
You
founder.
can see
Okay.
him on my YouTube side. And he
Sure.
said, people always say to be successful, it's about who you know, right?
Right.
And he said it's not. It's not only who you know, but how good you know them. And this is another success factor of ISG. You see,
Right.
you are in India and you know your clients.
Right.
And if I come to India and start from scratch, I have not the power you have there.
Sure.
So that's why we couple together. We have the processes, we have the knowledge base in the back, but you know the needs of your clients, you know their hurts, you know the culture, and that's why we built this global team.
Global team. Yeah.
Global, yeah,
Right.
which means local companies with our global approach.
Fantastic. So it's wonderful to know about ISG what it's doing. So if you can just let us know what's been happening over the last month or two, because it has been unprecedented times, and most of the clients across the world have been taken aback by the scenario. So if you can just let us know what has kept you busy, and what has been the kind of work that you've been doing for all these three CCC. Okay.
Wonderful question, by the way. So I'm busier than ever, and many
Right.
of our consultants are, because of course on one side you have companies which they have to do plans, they have to ad hoc, maybe make decisions and let some people go, which are our candidates in the future. So
Okay.
we walk alongside the clients and listen to them. We are not selling at the moment much. We are listening what is the need and how can we support. And therefore we started a weekly program right now already.
We had to abort it. Okay, go ahead. I'm listening. So
Okay.
you're talking about the weekly webinars, yeah?
Yeah, the webinars. So we give a subject a week for an hour. I call it lunch and learn. Our professionals call it a webinar. It is like a teaser, a subject where we give you an insight how to lead under difficult circumstances, how to lead now, for instance, on a distance. In the beginning, it was how to work from home. People did not know that. Yeah? They were sitting at home on the computer,
I can
having a
imagine.
serious meeting, and the cat walks by. So they have funny, interesting stories to tell, or the kids, or the grandma says, "Can you bring me the milk?" "No, I'm working, grandma." So how to communicate this in the family. Some people have it really difficult because they have circumstances like only one room where everybody is in the room and the kids do not go to school and you have to work and all those things. So we helped a lot of consultancy how to set up your virtual environment. Now it's more how to come back.
Absolutely.
And then now I just had 3 days ago, I had a meeting with one of our larger clients, and they said, we will not go back 100%. In future, 40% of our work we do from home. We keep going.
Sure.
Then.
Exactly.
So the traffic will go less, I believe, in the future, and we will have more quality time for the families and in work from home.
Sure. So yeah, you can have a glass of water. So I know you rushed into the meeting. So I do have a bunch of viewers online. I can see familiar faces from America. Tim Sohn. A shout out to Jenny Culligan, and Bill, Andrea Dickes. They're all from US. And we also have Robinda Sajde from Delhi. And there are 18 or 19 other people. So for some vague reason, the comment section on StreamYard is not working. So I'll just wait for their responses. So what we can probably do is, so now that you've told me about, you could probably continue about exactly what he said. The first 2 months, companies were not sure about how. I mean, it was just shifting the work home, but now there's a lot more clarity about the immediate future. And you're saying that only 40-45% of the um, people will need to be coming to office. So, what do you think will be the challenges for job seekers in future? Okay, would their jobs change? So, what is your? How do you look at that?
Yeah, jobs will change. There
Okay,
are some people, they say nothing will change, everything will go back. Some other people say everything will change. I'm more with them. I'm sorry. I believe this was the beginning. So we were always saying, think out of the box.
right.
Now suddenly the box around all of us was exploding.
True.
There is no box anymore, and everybody has to look to a new future. And I compared it in my virtual leadership seminar a little bit with Christopher Columbus, because
Uh-huh.
he had a couple of ships to guide, and you need some good navigation right now when you don't know where you end up.
True.
And that was Christopher Columbus. So you have to be a good leader in navigation right now and convince people to go in a direction where you even don't know as the leader where it will end. So we need good leaders. We need good leadership. And I guess everything is a little bit different than before.
Right. So, do you think how do people train? I mean, how do people train themselves? How do they transform themselves for the new normal? So, are there any particular skills you think will become more important? Are there any skills which may not be relevant because we keep hearing about? I mean, we've been hearing about this for a while that automation is happening, robots are coming, some of the jobs will go off. Okay. So, where do you think uh, can anybody, as a professional, as a job seeker, how can he or she future proof his career or her career? What kind of skills do you think, in your rich experience, how can, what is the crystal gaze that you're looking at?
Yeah, it's nice. I would like to give the question back now, but of course, yes. uh, when we think about it, it's clear. If you're not
Okay.
able to do digital seminars nowadays, you're doomed.
True.
But funny enough, people learn very fast in all ages. I have a group of one of my club members, so of my club, I'm a Rotarian, so it's a humanitarian organization. So we
Right.
have club members, they are far beyond 80 years old, and
Wow.
we set up Zoom meetings, and no
Okay.
problem. So
Sure.
it's teachable, learnable, and people have to look into those things. They are otherwise they are out. So this is obvious, and we spoke the last 2-3 years about the new competencies, 7-8 new competencies, and the digital world was one top competency where
Right.
people who were used to secretaries and getting organized flights and getting meeting organized and so on, they have to do it themselves on the telephone. So these are competencies, and there are set a couple of competencies. It's on the internet. You can find them all over. What
Sure,
you
sure.
need.
Exactly. In fact, I was talking to a couple of CEOs over the last 1 week. Okay. And they were saying that the business on the other side is going to be totally different. And they were in thinking in terms of new business models altogether. So, just to kind of give you an idea, so what the kind of information I'm getting today is that people need to be picking up skills for digital transformation. And this digital transformation is not just across in one department like an IT. No, it can go across every function. So be it supply chain or finance or marketing, okay, or sales, each one of these professionals need to be expressing themselves with using more technology, latest technology, and digitally transforming. And he was actually there's this company which was mentioning that they do a lot of exports to Singapore, and they said this. I mean, this very fact what has happened the last 4 or 5 months. The Singapore probably was focusing entirely, depending entirely on support from China, But because China shut first, their supply chain got really badly affected. And so now they're trying to bring in a whole lot of risk management things in place so that they diversify their supply chain basis. And so much so that now they are entering into contracts which are probably longer term, say 5 years, because they don't want to. Earlier, the same company, same products, they used to probably deal with contracts which are consignment to consignment basis. But now, given that this kind of a scenario has come, they feel that they'll need to probably renegotiate the contracts and have a contract for 5 years, which means you need to have even legal professionals who are need to think out of the box for even contracts, or in terms of identifying what kind of litigations could happen, etc., etc. So supply chain is going to change, legal is going to change, sales, sales. It was one, I think in the past, we always found that we could travel and meet the client at short notice. But now with this COVID, and one doesn't know whether international travel, how soon it will be starting. And even if it starts, what would be the condition? Will you, once you land a new country, will you have to be quarantined for a week? Okay, in which case it doesn't matter, it doesn't serve a purpose of traveling, because so now I feel that's also kind of going to give opportunities to consultants like us, because now talent can be hired wherever it is available. Earlier, if a company was, say, a European company needed to hire the best of people for the head office, and they had to bring people to the head office. Today, they can't, with these kind of restrictions, they are open to hiring people in India, China, Japan, wherever it's closer to the market. So we talk about, I mean, that's the kind of information I get. So, I mean, we still don't know the answers, but anytime, anywhere, skills are going to be, jobs are going to happen. So fantastic. I mean, we are all speculating because we still don't know, because it's still unraveling. But I can imagine, because you come from Austria, and Europe has been one of the engines for growth for the world. All the developed countries, all the developed companies are there. Okay, so do you see any discussions about them diversifying their supply chain or something like that?
I just come from a meeting where there are some certain needs in the like in Germany or in Austria, Switzerland, in the Holland and so on. They have needs of certain personnel which they cannot find within the country. So they seek to get them from the outside, and they need them in hundreds and in thousands of people. So there we set up still the old way to get good people to those countries which do that work. On the other side, I see through this thing, which was developing very slow, that will be very fast now, that for instance, an engineer, technological thing, like an IT specialist, doesn't have to sit next to you.
Right.
They can sit in India, they can sit in Pakistan, they can sit in China, they can sit in Silicon Valley or in Germany. It doesn't really matter. And they work in teams already. Large companies like IBM or Oracle, they have, I speak with their team leaders, they say, yeah, my team, I never saw them. One sits in England, one sits in India. And we work every day together. So such things will grow faster now and more. And there is an opportunity for countries which maybe have not the income level, or where the people are not allowed to travel or couldn't afford it, that they suddenly get in contact with those companies and can work for them without traveling there.
Sure.
So it happened already. That may be larger in the future. What you said on sales and for legal, I wanted to make.
Please.
On sales, I can see our sales force or the business developers, when they made 4 or 7 meetings a day, physical meetings.
Right. The past,
Now they make 10 to 14.
Wow. Yeah, because you save a lot of commuting time. Yeah. So these meetings are more productive and more efficient also. So
you the personal touch. I guess there is a statistic. I guess every seventh meeting should be at least physical, if
Right.
I have the number correctly. But
Sure.
you can do so many online.
True.
And also, what changed maybe is for the managers to have the board meetings and the decision meetings uh, to make them online. Some legal things changed now in the time and maybe extended for later on as well. So now they had to physically meet in the past. Now they can meet online. There are some certain rules you have to be aware that they are aware. But maybe it's not only in this extraordinary time, maybe these laws will be extended and you can do board meetings in the future online and
Sure.
not have to fly in the people all the time and the shareholders, owners, and so on.
Right. In fact, just last week I had a call from somebody from US. Okay, and that gentleman has been working with one of the leading retail companies in America. They have over 6,000 retail outlets and catering to the automotive segment. They have about 5,000 plus in US and Mexico and other places. And for the last 20 years, they've been actually sourcing a lot of their raw material from China. So this gentleman was based in China and trying to source all the spare parts in and around China, kind of a thing. But because of this COVID, which happened in November, December, he had and they do about $1 billion of sourcing from America, from China to America. So he had visited India just before the COVID, and then they're now seriously thinking of opening an office in India. Okay, and probably they said over the last few years they had only done $20 million of sourcing, but based out of Shanghai. But now, given this new normal, they are now planning to diversify their supply base. And they were asking, the conversation that I had was, where should I open an office in India? Should I have it in North India or if it's in South India? And so the kind of conversation we were having was, okay, this is the automotive market, these are the OEM segment, okay, and we have ports in these kind of places. So if you're going to source, you need to be closer to the manufacturing units. So he was talking about the whole business models going to change in the next few years. So I think I'm sure a lot of European countries also will be looking at, so I mean, not only these markets as the sourcing, but also as a consumption market, because between India and China, we probably or the Southeast Asian countries, we probably have 50% of the world's population here. Okay, so in terms of market, also there may be companies which may need to market their products differently for emerging markets at price points which are different from probably the ones you're used to in the last 10, 20 years. So I can see the skill sets changing, not only in sales and legal and finance, but also on the back end side. Somebody who can give more advice on cost reduction, on improving quality and industrial engineering and all that. Okay. Wonderful. I mean, Andreas, I didn't realize we almost 40 minutes of conversation. There is some hitch in
It's
terms
so
of
interesting talking to you.
yeah, this is some problem with, I can see some messages on my phone, but I don't seem to have it on stream yet. But we'll continue talking. So if we kind of want to uh, no, wrap up, so we talked about the jobs changing, we talked about the skill sets for candidates changing. So what do you think will be the opportunities for consultants? Okay, I know you told about the opportunities which could be there with ISG if your clients came to India. So what kind of people would you be looking at? So just in case we have people who are watching the show or watching the show after at a replay later on, because I know there are a lot of middle managers who probably will be affected by the kind of changing business models. So what kind of skills and competencies would you be looking for in HR professionals who probably can add value to ISG?
Yeah. I believe there are many people at the moment who are thinking, will my business last? And they're
Right.
looking around, and of course they will not jump easily at the moment because they may not find easily a job. So they will keep holding on what they have. But people are looking around, getting information. And our most successful people, they come from the industries, from a
Right.
sector, and mostly from a good management position. So they knew how to deal with people. They led people. They had different kinds of people. They recruited people. They tried to develop them. So they have a understanding of what we do. They are not HR professionals, but therefore we have our in-house university where we can depthen the knowledge of each individual which comes in. But the people who come from a sector, let's say automotive sector, they come into as a consultant. And everybody knows they can evaluate people on their own level and below. So the HR issues we can teach and do it together in the beginning until they pick up and say, I can do it now. And so they are most successful because they are known in the market for
Right.
automotive in this case. They
Absolutely.
know a lot of people and they can evaluate people because they have seen them for years
Exactly.
and they know what the market needs. They speak the language of the market. And if I come into automotive, then and you speak about tier one and tier two and OEMs, then I may be lost because
True.
I'm not from that market.
Right.
But these people, they understand what they mean. They have seen a salesperson, what they have to do. So they can evaluate salespeople for a company. So they are the most successful ones. They had a C-level position or a management, a business unit manager with people responsibilities. And when they come, they are easiest successful. Others like coaches and trainers, I can see they have a special subject and
True.
they try to sell themselves. Often they go in a group of how you know this, I know that. So they build actually groups sometimes to help clients. But ISG is doing it professionally. So they collect the knowledge, they collect the best people, and then provide services to customer, candidates, and to each other as a consultant. So I believe everybody who has a special knowledge and has
Right.
done it for a while,
Right.
let's say plus 5 years, certainly 10 years plus is even better. They are in the right experience level that they are successful in our business. If they think a little bit entrepreneurial and if they are outgoing, they have it easier. But I
Sure.
have also very introverted people who are
Okay.
successful.
Who are successful. Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, because eventually, I think people work with people, and so if you take care of the business and the culture part, okay, then the uh, teaching them the HR or that's much easier to do the packaging part because they are functionally much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we're close to the 45-minute mark. So we might have to wrap up. I know that you had a very busy day and you rushed in to this meeting
I'm
even
sorry
without
for
drinking
the
your
late
water.
arrival. Yeah.
Yeah. So is there anything that you would like to tell our viewers and something else that we missed out discussing in the last half an hour, 40 minutes?
I observe a couple of different types of people, of course. Some people are now totally stuck and they don't know what to do. And some people are attacking. It is,
Okay.
of course, an inner uh, how you believe the world is functioning. And so I believe both are valid. So some people, they cannot approach anybody, they don't know what to do right now. I believe those people, they should find a good leadership and support uh, somebody or some company which goes ahead, which need their expertise. And the hunters, I would call at the moment, they go into the fire, they distinct the fire. These people are ready to to build new businesses. They are ready,
Right.
like Columbus, to say, I don't know where I'm going, but there is a new world out there, and I'm going to find it. And they can bring along people, the specialists, and grow. And this is what we look at the moment for, being in every major city with a whole team. So we look for leaders, we look for specialists, and go from there. This is for us, but not everybody has to come to us, and we don't take everybody, of course. So,
No, absolutely. Because if you notice, over the last 25 years that your company has been there are a lot of people who have stayed on with long tenures, and they have grown their business while ISG has grown.
Yeah.
And so there's no, I mean, obviously that's a secret for a 3-member team to go to 38 countries. I think you're being very modest. Yeah, I'm sure you're very choosy about whom you take and the kind of people you select. Okay, so is there?
I tell our people always, when they are in the process, don't get frustrated, because we have many steps to go to make on both sides the right decision. But it's interesting. I found it very interesting.
No, but very interesting because you mentioned something about it's not just the extrovert which is benefiting. There are a lot of people who are introverts also who have succeeded well in the system. So yeah, that's very inspiring for people who try to label themselves as introvert or experts. But eventually, what you said is that one has to be a specialist so that he or she can add value. And so depending on the kind of the company and the industry and the life stage of growth, everybody can add value in different manners.
Bring yours to the table, have the long spoon, and feed each other.
Exactly. I love that thing. So the story of the long spoons. Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, I think we'll have to sign off right now, Andreas. So can you kind of indicate if anybody wants to reach out to you, how can they reach out? And if you can share your website, or I can, of course, always put your email ID later in the comments section.
That would be nice. Yeah, the email would be good, but always you can connect to Menon, who are you, and we are in very close touch anyway, and
sure,
almost on a daily basis now.
Okay, fine.
I like it very much, so I have good hopes for India.
Right.
And we are connected to the NPA and team, so these are large networks as well. We'll organize. So you can touch me through my email address if you give it. Or
I can do that. Okay, so thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. I'm really sorry that you had to come in twice. Once on Friday last, where we had some technical sort.
On Wednesday, we have a program. Maybe on YouTube.
Yeah,
we have a program, a live stream also, and it is about leaders.
Okay.
Asking the right questions to whom? To the mirror. And we have worked out some wonderful, wonderful questions. When you have a new vision, what kind of questions one should ask to the mirror to make this vision a compelling and a driving vision so that people follow.
Okay, and when is the seminar?
On Wednesday, 2 o'clock here. What is this?
Fair enough. I'll try and convert that timing for India and leave it. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Andreas. It's a pleasure talking to you. I'm really sorry for the extended day that you had, and we do hope to reconnect. And it's wonderful having you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and experience.
To the world. They were from America, from everywhere. So
that's right. Thank you.